it's one of those things that doesn't, something you can do to get rid of it. Seems like it goes away on its own. So, you know, that's you know, you get used to it. I mean, you don't have much of a choice, you know.
I've known Doug for 25 years. We sat next to each other in the 6th grade and have been close friends ever since. 3 years ago, he told me that he had bipolar disorder and was ready to try electroshock therapy as a last resort before killing himself. 12 hours before the surgery, he left the hospital, and a few months later he was again on the razor's edge of suicide because he felt there was no hope. I decided to make a film to show him that there is always hope. This is a story of life and death, conflict and surrender, progress and paralysis. But above all else, this is a story of friendship and the places that we go in order to reach out to someone who may be unreachable.
Innings go on, the volume goes up, and, you know, not much space.
It seemed like you kind of shut down. I mean, the Yankees started losing.
Nothing to do with the Yankees losing. Nothing to do with that.
So people just started cheering. It was getting kind of late, and you just kind of...
I just can't make it through. That's why I don't go to games.
It's probably a good idea that we just took off when we did that, I think.
Yeah.
I think Doug's the most capable of actually getting in there with Kane. More than me, more than anyone I've ever seen. He can go right in there. And Doug has patience. He doesn't get upset. He doesn't get mad at Kane.
God.
No. Kane feels when people are reaching out to him. He's not capable of coming over here to this side. When somebody's in with him, it's like walking into Kane's room.
She herself has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Before I wrote the story, a few days before, I told my mother, and she didn't know, that I was doing it. And she said, "Oh no, don't do that." And I was like, "Well, why shouldn't I do that?" And she said, "Well, you're at the age where people are going to be looking, a young man is going to be looking to marry you, and you really, don't want to have, this disadvantage."
How did that make you feel when she said that?
Totally horrible, so ashamed to expose a family secret or to just be the odd person out. It was a really distressing experience, and it continues to be something frightening as hell, because you wonder, what reaches of your mind you haven't gotten to yet. Like, what else is in store in the future for you as somebody who really is overdramatic and oversensitive and moody and attention-seeking and really interested in other people's kind of approval. All of those things to me add up to not being bipolar. They're just who I am, you know. But seen in a certain light, those are bipolar characteristics. To be told that you're bipolar is not to be told that you're depressed. It's just absolutely not the same thing. There's been a lifting of the taboo of depression, obviously. So everybody's depressed. It's fine to say that. But to say bipolar means, you know, people still think schizophrenic. I mean, I can't tell you how many people would ask me, well, what is that? You know, it's like, it's manic depressive. Why? How do you not know that? Hypomania is heightened experience, a drug you want more of. One is fascinated by the world, and sometimes it feels that the world falls in love with you too, turning all the lights up 6th Avenue green, sending the subway rushing into the station a moment after you've swiped a Metro card. This can seem to be your best self, the state of self-actualization that one prays to get to with self-exploration, therapy, and medication, but for many remains just out of reach.
I'm wondering if we can play a little bit of the DVD and let Vanessa get an idea of who Doug is.
Maturity is a complete falsehood. Adulthood is a complete falsehood. There's no such thing as maturity. There's no such thing as adulthood. People don't get smarter, they get just dumber and more jaded and harder and colder and meaner. And they forget where they come from, and they forget what it's like to be younger, and they just become liars and, you know, I mean, they just become putrid. I remember my stepmom used to say to me when I was like younger, oh, you don't know what it's like to be in love. And I was like, the love I had when I was 16 is probably as strong as love as you could ever find. You couldn't get any stronger than that. When you're 25, 26, 27, every time you kiss a girl, you're kissing that girl plus every other girl you've kissed, and that girl's doing the same thing you have. When you're young, you don't have that. And there's something totally beautiful and pure about that. And you'll never have it again. But as a kid, they never tell you that. They just lie to you and lie to you and lie to you. So wait till you get older, then you'll understand. But there is nothing to understand when you're older.
Doug was sent to me because he was not doing well. He was a treatment failure. I remember speaking to his father and saying, you know, there was no guarantee that he was going to be around very much longer.
That's why it's so hard having people say they care about you, because to me it's a waste. So if there's any reason I want to be on tape, maybe it's because I want to record my decay.
Depression is a state in which every bit of your vitality, every bit of your interest, every bit of your energy, every bit of your capacity to experience pleasure has been removed. And in its place is this deep psychic ache.
I tell you, the one psychiatrist, the one you look out for, are the ones that say they know what they can do, they can help you. They are the ones that are the most dangerous. I can't hang out in public and have a cup of coffee. I can't do that. I have to come back here and fucking hide behind curtains.
I think that that's what you see in theirs, is that, you know, the feeling of being the odd, you know, being the one for whom time has completely stopped and not being able to put it back together. I think you get a clear sense that he's pretty ashamed and upset about what he's bringing on to everybody else. It's part of what, you know, I mean, support systems and all this stuff is, you know, great, but for a lot of people, it ends up being alone in the room because they're so embarrassed of how they might, you know, make other people feel. And I mean, you know, and whatever, I'm crying because I know I relate to that a little bit as well. But in interviewing people myself, I felt that way too. Like, I felt that, you know, they just so desperately wanted to share with me, and at the same time were so afraid of alienating. You know, it's not like a normal interaction.
In one sentence, Vanessa had perfectly summed up the conflict that Doug was having with this project, and why our friendship had become so strained. Desperately wanting to share, but afraid of alienating.